So this is the DJI RS3 Mini. I have been having so much fun with this thing, so let me tell you all about it. In the box, it's actually quite simple. We get the RS3 Mini gimbal, a small USB-C cable for camera control, a USB-C cable for charging, a mounting plate, 2 1/4-inch screws. You also get a tripod that screws in the bottom, and actually this one's really nice and sturdy compared to others in this market. This gimbal is just beautifully designed. It has a great grip for your hands. It's really comfortable to hold, and it's a 3-axis gimbal, and each axis has its own little locking mechanism. So when you are traveling, you lock all of these in place so that they're not swinging around, and then you can easily unlock them and get ready to go. Each arm also has measurements, so that way you can keep track of it and easily change between your different cameras or different lenses and the different balance points. You can plug in the USB-C port here to directly connect your extra camera control. On the side of the gimbal, there's a little mount here for extra accessories, and I have to say that this one right here, this is a must-have accessory for this gimbal. It's an adjustable handle and it just snaps into place right here and you lock it in, and it is on there tight. This thing is so great if you want to have 2 hands on your gimbal, or if you want to get those low to the ground shots like this, you can hold it like a briefcase. Hence the name. Your camera easily pops in right here on the front, and then you lock it in place. Once you have your camera on there and it's balanced, you can hold down the power button. There is a nice and bright touchscreen on here where you can calibrate the gimbal, you can see the motor status, you can change between different modes, and for some really creative shots, including that Inception roll shot, there is a 3D roll. And it just keeps going round and round and round. And the dial is on the front side, and actually just a really great spot. Like, it's super easy to control and adjust settings like zoom or focus. And depending on your camera, you can also use the dial to change the ISO, aperture, shutter, or you can use the dial to change the roll, pan, and tilt. And the joystick is smooth and really easy to use. There's an M button right here to change between 3 different custom presets. Or if you're shooting something with fast motion, you can hold down that M button and then you can double tap the trigger, and that will enable sport mode, which will make it a lot faster. When you double tap the trigger, it brings the camera back to front and center. And if you triple tap it, it actually turns it into selfie mode. Hello. When you connect the gimbal to your app, you can adjust the motors and balance and see diagnostics. This is where you can also set up those 3 different custom presets. When you hit create, you can access the virtual joystick. And this is great because then you can move the gimbal around remotely, you can adjust the speed and the smoothness, you can hit record. And then next to that is Force Mobile. And this is really cool because it uses the phone's accelerometer and it follows along with your phone and all the movements. You can also take full panoramic pictures and time lapses with up to 5 waypoints. That way if you're doing a time lapse and you want to start it over here, you could set the waypoint there, then you can maybe go up to the sky, and then you can move over to this side, and you can also set the interval and duration of your time lapse as well. Now, if you have a difficult gimbal shot that you need to do, this is where you can use track. And you can actually set up your shot beforehand, set different waypoints. If it's gonna tilt this way, if it's gonna be panned that way or tilted that way, you can set those different waypoints, and you can even set the movement duration and the stay time. And then when it's all done, you just let the gimbal do all of the work. This gimbal works so well, and it's very stable. I had a lot of fun shooting in the city with it. Like, here's me running across the field, and it just looks really good. You have to imagine that when you're just hand holding a camera like this, it's gonna be a bit shaky. But when you have it on a gimbal, it just looks buttery smooth. So this gimbal works so well. I also like that this is the Mini. It doesn't take up that much space, but it also holds a hefty payload. I mean, the FX30 is a beefy camera already, and then you add on zoom lenses, you can add on that really heavy Sigma lens, and it has no problems keeping it steady. I have some other gimbals here that don't work with those lenses, and this one does, and that just makes me love it that much more.